Becoming a regular part of the cast and a regular member of SG-1 always brings up all the questions of the relationships between the cast. Obviously, Vala and Daniel were two peas in a pod in season 9. Tell us, in season 10, Vala's relationships.
No, thanks for the bracelets.
Oh,
yeah.
Oh. Tell us about Vala's relationships with Sam Carter, with Teal'c, with Colonel Mitchell.
Oh, there's so much. A lot of the time, what I see is potential, and because they have to serve so many different characters and a story, an overall arc, a lot of those opportunities will, they may be in an episode when the script is delivered, but not in the ultimate edit because of timing. For instance, there's a scene that I've done with Amanda, with Vala and Carter. It's the show opener in the scene opener in. I never know the titles of the episodes. I'm so used to years of Farscape of not knowing what the titles were because they were untitled until otherwise notified.
The SG-1 list here.
It's not Pegasus. It's either Pegasus Project or Morpheus. I think it's Morpheus.
Oh, from this season.
Yeah, from this season. Okay. A scene with Sam, and I think it's hanging in the balance at the moment. It may not end up.
Make the cut.
Yeah. So and this will happen all the time. All the character, all the scenes that show development in character are expendable. If they don't move the story forward, unfortunately, they also go to God. So they've certainly put those opportunities in, and whether at the end of the day, as it pans out in the edit, whether they stay or not is another matter.
That's a shame.
Yeah, I mean, they're the scenes I love the most, But unfortunately, we have a story to tell, and that must be driven forward, and the rate at which these things have to be written in order to be shot in time and delivered, it's hard to weave too many layers and textures in. Ultimately, if they had the time, I'm sure they'd write scenes where there's a lot of character development, but they're entirely driving the plot forward simultaneously. That's really tough to do. Especially since things change while you're filming, it can sort of pull a thread on something that's a subsequent episode, and things have to change. So, but there's great opportunities for Vala and Teal'c. There's stuff coming up in the next episode, Uninvited, out on location. And Christopher said, "Oh, there's great opportunities for humour." I said, "Well, let's just hope the cameras are rolling on it." So I know we'll be having a good time, whether it gets caught on screen or not.
There was some great interaction between Vala and Teal'c in Beachhead. You could tell that Teal'c has a great deal of respect for her in terms of her being able to restrain herself now that she is becoming more fleshed out.
Well, she's also done something incredible for them. She's like the boy who cried wolf. I mean, she tries to tell them in Beachhead, and no one will listen. But she hasn't established herself as a voice of reason anyway. So she just makes a decision to go off and do what she thinks needs to be done, and totally risks her life for it. And I think and she's similar to Teal'c. They do have something in common, and Daniel actually touches upon this with Landry in season 10, where he reminds them of Teal'c's heritage. He's an alien. She's essentially done a couple of things that demand their respect and thanks. How much that gratitude extends and translates into what they're willing to do for her is another matter. But I think you see in the beginning of season 10 certainly that Vala she genuinely wants to be part of the team. She's doing her best to behave.
You have any final words for Vala fans and for Claudia fans looking forward to July?
I would never expect anyone to be a fan of anything I've done, and the fact that people have crossed over and started tuning into Stargate is fantastic. And I really appreciate the fact that from what I've heard from people, that they recognise how different the characters are, and I'm glad I'm able to do something different for them, and as always, try not to insult their intelligence. When I'm never thinking of the lowest common denominator when I do my work, so whoever's appreciating it, I'm very grateful that they're entertained by it.
Claudia, thanks so much for your time.
Thank you, guys.